Let's say you just ran out of yogurt and you say, hey, I need to head to the grocery store right now and go purchase some more. When you reach the yogurt department, you realize that you're faced with two different options and you need to make a decision on which one to pick. The one on your left says 80% fat-free yogurt, while the one on your right says contains 20% fat. Without thinking about it, which one would you be more likely to choose out of the two options? It's likely that you just said the 80% fat-free option. And why is that? Because of the framing effect. People tend to value more positively framed options when it comes to making decisions. Nobody wants to purchase an item that blatantly says it contains 20% fat, even though the one that's 80% fat-free contains the same exact amount. I've performed extensive research on the framing effect and have seen countless instances in my everyday life of examples of the framing effect in use. Even just today, roaming around the grocery store and picking out yogurt for the week, I realized I can't fall victim to this, and I can't let others do so either. There's a wide array of framing effects that can impact decision making, but as I stated before, there are ways to overcome and avoid this bias altogether. So first, I'm going to start off just going more in depth, providing a definition of what the framing effect is and the different types. So according to the Decision Lab, the framing bias is a cognitive bias that can alter the decisions people make simply based on the way the items are presented in front of them. So we're going to start off with the auditory frame. So this can have to do with tone of voice, volume of voice, anything that has to do with audio or listening. So let's start off with a car salesman example. You're approached by a car salesman who is kind of quiet, seems naive, not much self-confidence. On the other hand, you're approached by another salesman who sounds super confident, super upbeat, loud, and just really willing to sell you a vehicle. You're more likely to go with that car salesman, even though both of the two are probably both knowledgeable on the vehicles. Another example is visual frame. So this can do with color, font size, imagery, anything of that such. So for example, you see something that's the color pink. A male is most likely not going to want to choose that item because pink is more associated with femininity. So males are most likely not going to want to purchase that item. A value frame can have to do with discounts. So if you see a $600 laptop that's really 20% off, but it's actually being portrayed or marketed as being $120 off. This is because it seems like you're getting a greater discount. 20% off is a decent discount, but hearing that you're actually getting $120 off sounds better, even though it's the complete same. And the final type of decision framing effect is the positive or negative frame, which I discussed previously with the yogurt example, where a negative frame is saying it contains fat, while the more positive frame is saying it's fat-free. So next up, I'm going to discuss how the framing effect can impact humans' abilities to actually make decisions. Because, as you know, when you're faced with two decisions and the framing effect comes into play, it's more likely to make you have a bias towards one way or another. According to a Nest Labs article, a study was actually performed in 1981 that tested the theory that different phrasing can alter the choices people make. So as the results of the survey showed that 72% of people chose the more positively framed treatment, while it dropped to actually a 22% when the same treatment was placed into a negative frame. So we're comparing 72% versus 22% just because something went from a positive to a negative frame. Majority of the time, as humans, we make decisions subconsciously or without even knowing that the framing effect is actually impacting our decisions. It's just become so natural to us. There are ways to overcome this effect being used as a tactic to impact our ability to make decisions. You first want to start off asking yourself, what exactly is the marketer trying to convey within this product? Because this is all a marketing tactic. People in marketing will choose to convey a product one way over another because they know that as humans we're going to choose one option over the other. Next, you can attempt to reverse the frame, kind of switch it up or take the current frame and state it in the complete opposite direction to see what the other side is saying. Not every decision is binary, meaning there can be more than two options or two ways of perceiving something. Reframe, take your time, because if you rush through things and make a decision, you can definitely fall prey to the framing bias, which is something that we really want to avoid. We all face framing on an everyday basis. There are various types of framing effects, and that can impact your decision, but there are ways to overcome them, as just discussed. The next time you step into a grocery store or find a discounted item, read the wording on the packaging or on the discount and ask yourself the following questions. Is this something that's positively or negatively framed? And how can I reverse this framing to see it differently? Don't let this bias impact your decisions, so make sure whenever you're faced with two options, you think about the framing effect and don't fall victim to it.